Okay, kids. So, for our next activity, you already learned about one point perspective, okay, which is where all the lines seem to go to one particular spot called the vanishing point. Now, you're going to learn about a different type of perspective. And if you look at this picture, okay, you will see that we don't use a dot for this. This is called atmospheric perspective or aerial perspective. And it is always done in landscape pictures. In other words, scenes from the outdoors where the artist is looking from one particular place. You could have oceans, rivers, cities, things like that. Okay? And there's always something called the foreground, which is at the bottom of the picture. Okay, that's the closest part of the picture to you. Then you have the middle ground. That's the meat of the picture. That's where most of the stuff is going on. Okay, it's up a little bit from the bottom, and there's a little bit less details in it, and it's a little bit smaller than stuff over here. Okay, and then you have the background, which is in this particular picture behind everything else. And it usually includes the sky and parts of stuff that is really far away, like these mountains. And if you look at this picture, you'll notice that as you get back here, things seem to get kind of blurry and fuzzy. Okay? And that's one of the principles of atmospheric perspective. Because the air has dust and particles and different things in it, things that are really far away have much, much, much less details than things that are close. So we have foreground, middle ground, background, but we also have overlapping of things too. So one thing in front of another. All of this put together gives us something called depth. Depth, and we're not talking about how deep your swimming pool that you go to is, okay? Depth is when things are close or further or farthest away. And it gives an illusion of this space where you can kind of tell where you are compared to everything else. Okay, so stuff up close is always down here and it has lots and lots of details. And then things get smaller as they go away. It's also why you can cover the moon at night with your finger. Because it's so far away, it gets much, 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 much smaller. So, that, in a nutshell, explains atmospheric perspective. And artists love to use this to show distance and depth, usually when they're doing landscape pictures like this. So, what you're going to do now is you're going to do a little miniature landscape. After each step, you're going to have to pause the video and do the work. Okay, and this ends up looking really cool because right now you have a flat piece of paper. All right, and by the time we're done, you're going to be able to almost imagine yourself going into the picture and kind of moving around in the space that we create. So, our first step, we're going to do this line by line, kids, is we're going to draw a light diagonal line about this big, and then another one going towards it about this big. And then we're going to connect them together. Then, I want you to put a little oval right about here, a little oval right about here, and then a straight line down, and a straight line down. Okay, doesn't look like much yet. Now, I want you to kind of draw a lumpy bumpy line here, and then you're going to draw another lumpy bumpy line a little bit up from this one, but on this side. See how this one's a little lower than this one towards the bottom? Now I would like you to draw a line that looks like this and a line that looks like this. And then kind of a cloud line. And then another one that goes like this, and these should go off the top of the paper and the side. And then a curvy line that goes off the paper like that. Okay, now we're going to do something similar over here. Curvy line up, like so. And then that's going to go off the paper. Same way. Like that. Right. And then curved line up and off like that. Next, we're going to make a little line like this. And then a curve and a curve. And we're going to connect those two together. And then a triangle. And then a smaller triangle. And I bet you can start to see what this is starting to look like. All right. Now, we are going to go over here. And we're going to make a lumpy, bumpy line that goes from this little island-looking thing to the big sail. And then make your lumpy, bumpy line go across like that. Now, we're going to make our first background mountain. And then we're going to make another one above it. And you have created yourself a landscape. We have one more thing to take care of here. And that is, we're going to make our boards on our dock because, yeah, this is water. Okay, it's like a lake that comes in towards the dock. So you can see that like this area is really far away because it's behind the boat and it's in the middle of the paper. Okay, remember, we start down at the bottom. That's the stuff that's closest to us if we imagined we were in our picture. To draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 lines. And if you look carefully, you can see that they get closer and closer together. Okay, that's also part of perspective. When things are farther away, they look smooshed. Okay? So, once you have your picture drawn, you are going to go over and write your first name and last name. And your table color. Then you're going to put this in your folder for safekeeping because we're going to add color to it next week.